Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. What I have set up is a scale model culvert with a few cars on top, a few trees, gravel road type scenario with a small culvert. And this is just to demonstrate what happens when it stays plugged for an extended period of time, and then say, for example, maybe you get a heavy rain or a storm, or maybe a blockage upstream breaks and you get a flood of water. So right now you'll see culverts functioning pretty well. Water's draining right through. I'm going to slowly start to introduce some debris upstream, and you'll see it handles it for a while. So we're continuing to add small amounts of debris to the culvert, and it will pick up here shortly. Alright, so let's say, for example, we just had something break loose upstream. We're getting a little bit heavy debris now. Things are starting to build up along the culvert edge. And over time, it will become plugged. You can handle small blockages, deal with them no problem. But eventually, it will get overwhelmed if it is not kept clear. And this is one of the reasons why I do what I do, as you'll see here in a few minutes the catastrophic failure that will happen, and this is what it looks like real time when it happens. Piece by piece, little things get caught in there. Sometimes they make it through, sometimes they add to the blockage. But the water's still flowing normal. We're gonna introduce a little storm effect. We're gonna stir up the water a little bit, add a little debris, increase the water flow slightly to emulate a storm, or maybe something breaking free upstream and sending debris down. So now you can see the culvert output is still handling the water pretty well, but the level's starting to rise. Debris starting to build up at the culvert, and hopefully this is where someone would catch it and clear it out. But if not, it's going to keep plugging. And you can see it's still passing through a lot of water, but the water on the bank is starting to creep up on the upstream side. If you pay attention, you can see it slowly creeping up. So now we're going to emulate heavy rains, a little more water coming down. Things are starting to pick up. And one thing I want everyone to really pay attention to is when the water starts creeping up, it starts saturating the earth under the road and penetrating through to the other side before you see it on the road. This is one reason why you do not want to drive across a flooded road. The road is already unstable from being saturated with water. The weight of your vehicle can be enough to cause it to shift, and then your vehicle will end up in the stream downstream with you in it. So you may think, oh, I got a high vehicle or a four-wheel drive truck, you can get through it, but it's really not about that, because the ground you could be driving across could be very unstable from the water loosening things up underneath. So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute as this water level slowly starts to creep up. And this could be emulating, a week, 2 weeks of rain. Nobody attended to the culvert. There's heavy storms coming through the area. This could say a scenario at 2 a.m. No one's around, no one realizes it's flooding over. but it does happen, and it is real. So now, although the culvert is still passing water, it's plugged very bad, and the water is starting to crest. You can see the water starting to seep into the side of the road. The earth around the culvert starting to become saturated, which is going to cause things to loosen up. You know, maybe we have another storm. Maybe we get something. Okay, so the pond on the upstream side is at max capacity, almost flood with the road. And if you look close, you'll see it start to seep through the gravel on the road surface, which is going to destabilize everything. Culvert's still working, but it can't keep up. Now here I'm going to emulate another storm, some heavy winds moving the water around. You know, maybe get a bigger rush of water upstream from storms up north or whatever, but you'll see here the water's cresting over the roadway now, and this is absolutely where you do not want to try to cross this road. If you try to cross this road now, you are putting your life in danger. So as you'll see, it starts eroding away on the downstream side, because that's what water does, erodes earth. Now you'll see, I put the cars on there just for an example to see how strong it is, and you'll see what happens here in a minute. So now it's overflowing fully, and it's starting to wash the road out. The banks are falling. See, the trees on the downstream side are falling, getting swept downstream. Vehicles are stranded. That truck could be yours if you were the one that decided to cross and got stuck, because the earth was not stable underneath the water. And here we go. It's pretty much going to wash out the entire roadway. This is obviously a little bit of an exaggerated scenario, sped up, but the result is pretty typical of what it looks like after a culvert is washed out from being clogged. So now the road is completely gone. The shores of the culvert are there, but the waters just keep coming. It's coming. There goes the car. And it's just not going to stop. Other trees shifting around. And soon the culvert lets go and gets washed downstream. And that absolutely does happen in real life scenarios. Vehicles get swept several hundred yards downstream. Culvert pipes disappear. So now you'll see it's wide open now, so the water's starting to recede a little bit because there's no more blockage. So now we're going to slow the water flow down just slightly and start bringing it back to normal levels. And let's say the storm passed. It's the next morning, everyone's waking up. People are realizing the road washed out. There's cars down in the water. Is there anybody in them? Emergency services are on scene. Maybe this was the only bridge in or out, or road in or out of a small area. Maybe you're trapped on the one side. All because of a plugged culvert. You can no longer drive your car from A to B. So it's pretty important to keep these clean, and it's one of the reasons why I try to do it. I wanted to try to visualize it for some people. I thought it was a neat little idea, and I also want to add that, you know, I may not post frequently, but you won't ever catch me making videos for views camping in a culvert or setting up contraptions in culverts. They are not anything to play around in. It's a very dangerous place to be. You could be in there one time and it can be dry. 10 minutes later, that culvert could be filled to capacity. All it takes is for something upstream to let go. Flash flood upstream, even if it's 10 miles away. You could be trapped. It's not somewhere you want to be. So, camping in culverts for views, setting up contraptions in culverts for views, it's not a good thing to be showing people. It's not a safe place to be. So please stay out of them. And with that being said, the culvert is washed downstream and ponds draining down. And we're going to get to bare bones here in a minute, or bare bottom in a minute. Now the stream is pretty much back to normal flow. Water levels receded. It's flowing nice. And here in a minute I'll do a small flyover up the culvert with my camera to show you guys where the culvert and that pickup truck ended. And you see how far the culvert got washed downstream, and that does happen. Vehicles do get washed several hundred yards downstream. And this is a flyover. You see a couple cars there. Pickup truck overturned a few hundred yards downstream. Culvert pipe didn't make it far. And that's it.